Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We talk about notes so much, what notes to play when we're improvising solos. And today I want to talk about rhythm instead, because the older I get, the more experienced I get, the more I think about what the true essence of this music, jazz, is. It's all about rhythm. So I imagine for most of you, when I say the word dissonance, the first thing that comes to mind is playing notes that are dissonant, tension and release. And of course, that's all great. We have to know what notes to play, what notes sound good, and notes can create a tremendous amount of interest in our music. But do you spend as much time thinking about rhythm as you do notes? And I think for most of us, that's probably a little bit lopsided. And I want to sort of fix that issue today, get you to think more about rhythm. So just like you can create tension with notes, you can also create a tremendous amount of tension and interest and release that with rhythm. And I always think the best way to teach something is through demonstrating a concept in action, the way that I would actually practice this. So let's do it. Let's take a simple 2-5-1 line and let's see how we can make it more interesting through rhythm. So harmonically, we're going to stay pretty simple. I've come up with this line that is literally just outlining some chords and scales with some chromaticism. And the line that we're going to work off of is all eighth notes. So let's check out our bass line, our model first. So I think you can hear there's nothing crazy adventurous going on there. It's pretty simple. And again, it's all eighth notes because that's going to give us a chance to tweak a little bit. All right, so let's come up with an idea. So in the second measure, I want to add a couple of 16th notes to take the attention away from the eighth notes, give us a break from the eighth notes, and give us a little bit of a different sound. So what I'm going to do in bar 2 is on beat 3, I'm going to put an eighth note rest, and then I'm going to play 2 16th notes and then continue with eighth notes. Now, this is not that much of a difference, but it is going to make a huge difference in the way this line comes across to you. Let's hear what it sounds like. So very simple tweak, but now a very different sound to the line. It's more interesting. All right, let's try another one. We'll stay on this idea of 16th notes. So this time I'm going to put 4 16th notes at the end of the second measure, leading into the resolution point. But I also tweaked the beginning of measure 2 as well. I put a rest there that's a little bit unexpected. I also have a quarter note in bar 2, but this time it's across the beat. It's 2 eighth notes tied together. So let's see what all of these rhythmic changes result in. Now I like that one because it has some unexpected stuff and it loads just like we want to do with the notes. It loads the tension right before the resolution point. So I think that one's a keeper. All right, let's do another one with a new idea. This time I want to start incorporating some eighth note triplets, a very characteristic sound in jazz and bebop. So this time, instead of putting 16th notes right at the end of the line before the resolution point, I'm going to put an eighth note triplet instead. This one's a pretty simple change, but again, great results. Let's hear what this one sounds like. Again, I like that one because the rhythmic tension is loaded right at the end of measure 2 before everything resolves on beat 1 over the 1 chord. Now, let's stay on triplets for a second, but let's try to make it a little bit more complicated. And here's the thing, if you don't add any notes, but you're dealing with more compressed rhythms like eighth note triplets and 16th notes, by definition, you have to start using some space in your playing. And that's what happens in this line. So I'm putting an eighth note triplet on beat 1, an eighth note triplet on beat 3, and then an incomplete eighth note triplet going into the resolution point again. And what you can see is that by doing this, there's more rests in the measure. So let's hear what this one sounds like. Now, I like that one too. It's really interesting and unexpected and keeps the listener guessing what you're going to do next. Okay, now you'll notice that we haven't done anything with the first measure. And let's mess with that a little bit because that's fair game as well. Up until now, I've just been focusing on giving myself more rhythmic tension in the second bar right before the resolution point. But now let's extend it to the first bar. And let's stay on eighth note triplets because I really love the sound of eighth note triplets and there's a lot you can do with them. So in this line, you can see that I've tweaked the rhythm in the first measure as well. And again, since that measure was running eighth notes originally, because I'm dealing with those more compressed rhythm, those faster notes, there's rests now. And then in the second measure, I'm really messing with triplets. And in fact, you can see on beat 3, I even have a quarter note triplet in the mix. Let's see what this one sounds like. Now, I really like this one. This is one that I would probably try to tweak further, come up with new and different ideas, and keep going down this path of how can I use triplets to make a really, really interesting line. Okay, so if you've been keeping track, we just went through 6 different lines that have exactly the same notes. All we did was change the rhythm. Now, a couple of things are happening here that I think are fantastic. First of all, these 6 lines, they're just the beginning. I could sit there and I could write out literally 50 lines that are just manipulating the same melodic material, but giving us a completely different sound. That is the power of rhythm and rhythmic dissonance. Now, the second thing that is going to be an absolutely huge benefit to you as a musician is that once you start to develop this rhythmic flexibility, it's going to carry over to other notes that you're playing, other harmonic and melodic ideas that you're trying to get across. Once you build a tremendous rhythmic vocabulary, a rhythmic flexibility, an ability to be creative with your rhythmic playing, it doesn't matter what notes you're playing, you're going to carry that flexibility over into everything that you are doing. And then the third thing that we realized through this kind of work is that, honestly, the notes don't matter as much as the rhythm. You hear that all the time, but I think that this little exercise, this little demonstration perfectly shows that. So that allows you to take a little bit of the pressure off of yourself and realize that you don't need to know 600 chord substitutions. You don't need to be able to do everything there is to do when it comes to your harmonic language. If you can really up your rhythmic game and you have a little bit of a limited vocabulary when it comes to what notes to play, you're still going to sound fantastic and your playing is going to be so much more effective. People that aren't jazz musicians but come out to hear you play are going to be so much more captivated by your rhythmic playing than what notes you're playing. They don't know what a tritone substitution is. They might know that it sounds interesting, but if you can capture their attention with rhythmic playing, they're going to go home saying, wow, that person is fantastic. I want to go back out and see them play. And if you think about all your favorite musicians, they're rhythmic masters, especially today, especially in 2023. A lot of the modern music that's coming out now is all about interesting rhythm, time signatures, interesting feels. At the end of the day, that's what can take the same 12 notes that we've been using for hundreds and hundreds of years and make it sound brand new and exciting and fresh. So if you're overlooking the rhythmic parts of your practicing, don't. Start working on some stuff like this, and I think you'll see a lot more doors open up to you. And I think you'll see your improvisation skills and effectiveness skyrocket. Let me know what you think. Is this something that you do in your practice time on a regular basis? Is it not something that you do on your practice time? And how important do you see rhythm to the way that you play? Let me know in the comments below and we'll have a discussion there. Thank you all so much for watching this. If you did like it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Those are all things that help us to get these videos out to more people like you that can use this kind of information to become better musicians. And if this is the kind of stuff that you love to talk about and you're looking for more guidance on this, I do have an online education program called the Jazz Intensive, and this is the kind of stuff that we talk about each and every day with the members. Depending on when you're watching this, enrollment might be closed, but if you click on the link below the video, you can see if there are any spots open. And if you've been looking for something to take your playing to the next level, I'm confident that the Jazz Intensive can help you. All right, hope you're all doing well out there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on another video soon. Bye, everyone.